Hello and welcome. It's the budget day, and of course, the middle class seems to be very happy with the government having simplified and reduced income tax slabs, also reduced taxes on the income up to 12 lakh rupees annually, with no income tax on anybody earning rupees 12 lakhs. But here on Bharat Shakti, we are more interested in what is the defense budget that has been allocated for the three armed forces or the four armed forces, including the Coast Guard, which has its raising day on 1st of February. So, as we speak, the Coast Guard is celebrating its 49th raising day. So, let me break down the figures for you. The overall figure, as I can see from official listing here of the defense budget, is that the government has allocated rupees 6,000, the government has allocated rupees 6,80,209 crores to the defense services, which includes several heads. The major head is revenue expenditure, which is 3,11,732 crores. Capital expenditure is 1,80,000 crores, and the pension is 1,60,795 crores, while miscellaneous is about 28,682 crores. So it sort of makes up for about 6,80,209 crores for defense services. Now, this is up from what it was in 24-25 or 2024-25 budget, which was about 6.21 lakh crores. And the percentage of defense budget to the GDP has been pegged at about 1.91% of the GDP. Don't forget that overall, the budget that is presented by the finance minister has several heads where they have to spend more money. So if you look at the fine print on the capital expenditure, for instance, I have just, in fact, tweeted it. Some of you can actually go and see my tweet. I have said that the percentage of the defense budget, capital expenditure has gone up from what it was in 2024-25. It is now 1,80,000 crores from the previous year's allocation, which was 1,72,000 crores, which means 8,000 crores have been increased compared to what it was originally allocated. But if you compare to what the defense services will have spent by March 31st this year, they have not been able to spend that 1,72,000 crore which was allocated last year for capital expenditure, which means buying new equipment, new platforms. They had to return from the figures that are available on the screen. They had to return nearly 13,000 crores unspent back to the finance ministry. So therefore, the percentage of increase has to be compared to what has been spent or will be spent by March 31st. So again, reiterating that by March 31st, the defense services have said they will be able to spend only rupees 1,59,000 crores this year by March 31st. So above that expenditure, there has been, against that expenditure, the government has allocated 1,80,000 crores, which is nearly 21,000 crores extra or above the figure that is there in the revised estimate of the Ministry of Defense. Again, the pension bill has increased from what it was in 2024-25. It was 1,41,205 crores in 24-25. It has now been estimated that the pension will cost the government rupees 1,60,000 crores or 1,60,795 crores to be precise, which is an expenditure which is unavoidable. After all the armed forces personnel, the military personnel spend their lives in serving the nation. So this cost is unavoidable and also has to be borne by the government no matter what happens here. The revenue budget, which is recurring expenditure, maintenance, spare parts, all that has gone up for all the three services from what it was 2,82,772 crores in 24-25 to 3,11,000 crores, 732 crores. Quite a bit of increase in that sense. And revenue always takes the biggest chunk, because you have to maintain the equipment that is there, the platforms that are in service, buy spare parts, repair whatever equipment you have, all that goes into this. So the pension bill, the revenue expenditure I have already mentioned, and the capital expenditure, plus miscellaneous, which is on roads, on civil construction, all that is about 28,682 crores in the current budget. So overall, I would think the government has maintained an upward trend in defense spending. So the lesson here is that the defense services have to spend faster and spend smartly, because if they have returned 13,000 crores in the current fiscal year, that is 24-25, which is not a good sign, because ultimately the military has to be prepared, well prepared for the twin threats that it faces on the borders. And I think there's a lesson here, or there is a indication that our Indian government's MODs, or the Ministry of Defense procurement process, has to speed up. These timelines has to squeeze from acceptance of necessity of a particular platform to doing the contract negotiations and signing a contract, and of course delivering the equipment. All these timelines have to squeeze if the government expenditure or government allocation that is given against the constraints that the government has to be spent fully and smartly. I think that's the big takeaway for me as far as the defense budget is concerned. And I'm sure the defense services and the MOD would have looked at this very closely and would put in place mechanisms to make sure that in the next fiscal year, that is 2025-26, all the money that is allocated under the capital expenditure head will be fully spent by the time we speak again in February 2026. That's all I have. I'm Nitin Gokhale. Do keep watching Bharat Shakti for all the important news and the nuances in these news.